So Shri, one of the things that is coming out very, very strongly to me in this conversation is when I look at, a heavy engineering, manufacturing kind of a setup where deep engineering is required,
Yeah.
then the knowledge of the domain that you come with. In fact, as an engineer, you spoke more domain than many engineers would speak. You are not talking about you know uh, architecture, or you're not talking about some program or whatever, but you're talking about industry issues, and then you went back to solving it. Okay.
Yeah.
uh, I, while in other industries other than manufacturing, many times I see the knowledge of the industry is pretty much sometimes not there. They probably say that, okay, just program this and give it to me. Okay.
Mhm.
uh, so is that so? Therefore, if I'm an engineer, would you recommend that I do the hard work of working in, say, a manufacturing unit, or a or an industrial unit, if I were to call it, okay, for a few years, so that it just gives me a hard knowledge of what I can then apply and innovate in other industries?
Absolutely, I think that's a great suggestion. To be honest, you put it in a better light. Yeah, I would say that that is a great thing to do. Having different backgrounds and experiences only enhances your work. You know, um, one of the things I learned, or in my tours. Um, uh, Thinking about one time I was in an Alcoa Tech Center, and they were the original suppliers of parts for Apple products,
Hmm.
some of the stories they described how Steve Jobs was so personally involved in the because they were using aluminum uh,
Hmm.
cases,
Hmm.
and how he was involved in the aluminum parts making, even though some of these parts were not even exposed. They were not even aesthetics parts.
Hmm.
And the reason I'm bringing that up is people who are that successful, they are so focused and they are want to know everything. So for me, the best way, everyone cannot be, not going to have that kind of opportunities and mindset like Steve Jobs. So what is the best thing can you do? The best thing you can do is, I'm fortunate, for example, is to be in steel, to be in automotive, to be in aerospace, now in pharma, from life science. Even within pharma, there's life science, there is tablets making, cell and gene therapy is the next big thing. Individualized medication is coming. They take your genes, and these are all fascinating. Every day I learn. And then also I'm able to leverage the things that I learned from one industry, and I'm able to apply in another industry. And I feel that helps me to be a quick learner when I change jobs or take up a completely new industry. Allows me to be, I don't want to label myself as successful. That's kind of a self-congratulatory thing, but it allows me to be to start up on any new jobs pretty quickly. I feel that, and I do, and so for an engineer, so I'm going to bring this up. You probably might remember it. I was a civil engineer, civil professor in the college. I forgot his name. Shame on me. The one thing he told us was, "Look, I'm going to teach you. You're going to use some tools that's not even invented yet. Okay, you're going to use those tools. So what I'm going to teach you is to how to think like an engineer, so
Hmm.
that you'll be ready to use those tools that it's not even created yet." Something like that. Okay. To this date, I think about that. I should remember the professor's name, but I don't. It was a basics of civil engineering class.
Hmm.
He taught us that, and to me, that mindset comes when you have exposure to different, uh, areas. And if you're going to be a programmer in Google, sometimes when I use some of the tools, especially some of the Microsoft products, I say, why don't they get some user input? Oh my God, sometimes I think that, yeah.
Here, Sridhar shares a very, very powerful thought of how do you really build a product that's not invented as yet? How do you solve a problem that's not invented as yet? How do you build a product for a problem that's not invented as yet? Therefore, as an engineer, what he suggests, and which I think is something that I totally agree with, is you need to first teach yourself how to solve a problem. And as you build your career as an engineer, as as a doctor, as a as a musician, there are many tools and machines that are going to come your way over the next 30-40 years. And you need to understand that if you were to know how to solve the problem, break down the components into real issues, then any problem can be solved when these new devices come in. Therefore, the fact that you need to really understand core problem solving skills is something that he talks about. And if you are an engineer, the fact that you need to learn these are very interesting points that he makes. So therefore, it's not just about doing the job that you do, but it's about learning from different industries, applying one industry learning to another industry, and also looking at things that have never been invented as yet, but you'll be thrown these problems in a couple of decades, and you should be able to pick them up and quickly find a solution for them. That's the key skill that you need to build for yourself.